Welcome back again. Now let's continue. After working on the header, now it's time to work on the sidebar right here. So we have to create the component first. So the first thing I want to do is just go back to my components inside the dashboard, and I will create a new folder that is called sidebar. And inside of it, let's create the main component inside the sidebar, which is sidebar.tsx like this. First of all, I want to create the interface because this is a component that's going to take some props. So let's go with the interface right here, and let's call this something like sidebar and then props. And inside of here, it's going to take stores, but this is not for now. The only property that is going to take now is admin, because I want the sidebar when it's the admin to look or function a bit different than the one on the setup. So if it is admin, this one is going to be a boolean property like this. Okay, and now let's create our component. So const and then sidebar, and this one we're going to use fc from React, and we need to pass the interface, which is the sidebar props right here, and then an arrow function that just simply gonna return for now a normal div like this, and we need to export it default. So export default sidebar right here, so our component is accessible for other components. So I'm just gonna go sidebar right here and actually call it here like this, and just simply call it from the sidebar component. So this one the header, this one the sidebar. Always make sure to add comments. Even if I didn't add them in the video, I will add them later because this is very important. Oh, sorry, I imported the icon. So for the sidebar here, it's gonna be from component sidebar, and let's put this right here like this. So now we have an error. It says that the sidebar it takes is the admin. So let's make this optional right here, because it's not necessary to pass it unless it's like the actual admin sidebar. So now that we have it here, we can just simply go here and extract that. So we're just going to extract the is admin. And first of all, we need few informations right here. I want to get the informations of the user first. So const user, we're just going to go await, and then simply the current user function to get the information of the user. We got to make sure this function is asynchronous to allow that. Now we have to start styling our sidebar. So first of all, if you remember the last video, the width of this one is going to be 300 pixel, and then in the border, it's going to have a border on the right side. Okay, and then also it's going to have a height of 100 viewports width, which is the height screen, and then we're going to have a padding of 4, and then we're going to have flex and then flex call. So it's going to be a column 1 under 1, and then also after that we're going to make sure that it's fixed, and then simply on the top 0, and then left 0, and then bottom 0 like this. Now we need that beautiful logo that exists there. So going back to our projects, inside the public folder, I have created another folder that is called assets, and inside of it a folder that is called icons, and I have this logo one for you. Of course, all the files will be included with the tutorial and also going to be accessible in the GitHub repository. I'm not going to include only this one. I'm going to have few for you to choose from, and if you have your own brand or creating a website for you, you can choose your own logo. So this is simply just something optional, not very necessary. You can choose any logo you want to, and this would be preferable. Okay, so we have this right here. Now what I'm going to do inside of here, I'm just going to create another component that is called logo like this. So we have to create this component. So where do we create it? I'm just simply, this is something that is going to be shared, that can be used in any parts of the website, but you can just include this for this dashboard only. So for me, I'm just going to go inside the dashboard right here. So we can have it in the short components. Okay, so I'm just going to go here and call this logo.tsx like this. And for this components also, it's going to take an interface. So interface and then logo props, and then inside of here it's going to take two props, which is going to be the width, logo props, the width, which is a string, and also it's going to take the height, which is a string, because we want to make sure this component never goes out of the width and the height that you want to. So we're gonna go const, and it's more customizable than just having it to one side. Okay, that is fixed. So we're gonna go logo, and then as usual fc, and then we're gonna pass the logo props, and this is simply gonna be our component, which is an arrow function right here, and just simply return add div like this, return, and then now we have to export, so export and then default and then logo like this. So we have to extract the two properties, which is the width and also the height like that. So for this component right here, we're just simply gonna have a class name to make sure that it's on top of everything. So we're gonna use the index 50, and then for the styling, not here, we're just gonna add the styling property. I prefer than just adding this size in the class name, because sometimes they don't actually update right here, and they update from the style property, which is more proper for this use case. Okay, so we're gonna go for the style right here, and we're gonna provide the width right here. So the width property, which is you can just add it this way, and also add the height like this. And this is simply the width property is going to take this width, and the height is going to be take this height. This is just simply JavaScript styling, or to make it more understandable for you. So the width for this component is going to be the width we got there, like this, just to make it more understandable, and also the height like this. But also the other way works. So instead of this one, we're just going to have an image tag from Next.js. So image tag from Next.js like this. And the source of here is just gonna be the logo image. So this is the logo image, which is we're gonna import. So simply this image right here we have, or you can also pass it if you want to, but because this is the same logo, we can just simply use that. Or you can have two images and switch between them with a property. We might do that later. So for now, I'm just gonna import the logo image. You can do it this way, logo, and then image, and then from, and then simply we gotta go. Let's see if I can access directly. Let me see if I can access the public. Which is it? Public, I can't. So simply what we're gonna do, just go up and then up again, then up again, and right here we can access the public folder, and then inside of its assets, then icons, and then the logo one icon. So this one it is. And then for the alternative, we can just go with the name of the website we're creating for something, and then the class name. Can I get please the class name for this one is going to be widthful, and then the height to be 4. So it's going to take the properties of what we have on the parent div, which is the styling that we applied right here. That's why. And then we're going to make sure this object cover and then overflow is going to be visible. And for this one, I'm going to show you later why. So we're going to have overflow visible right here. And now we have the logo components. For, of course, I'm not going to keep doing this every video because this is gonna bore you out, but you need to also add the comments right here, so the code is always clean for you. And this way, logo image, I can't even type. Okay, and like this, and you can add a comment right here for the interface, etc. But that's very simple and understandable. So now we have that logo component. I can just simply take that, or we do have it, which is simply can import it like this. And now if I go back to my application, so let me just go and see. So I have that right here. So if I zoom out, this is what I have. If I zoom in, this is what I have. Okay, so this is what we got. Now we have to continue with the rest. So inside of this, let me just go back to my components, and after, so right here we need to pass the properties. I forgot to pass the width and the height, so that's important. So for the width, I'm just going to make sure that it's 100%. So I'm just going to pass it like this. Don't pass them as properties for Tailwind because this is side and we have to use CSS, normal CSS. So for the height, I'm just going to go with 180 pixels like this. Okay, and then under that, we're just going to go with the span. So I can't talk because I haven't slept so for like 2 days. So we're just gonna go right here and add a span here, and it's a self-closing tag, and we're gonna add a class name to it, and just simply margin top and then 3 like this. And then under the here, we're gonna have another component that is gonna be global, which is gonna be the user info. So let's create it like this. And this user info that we will create, it takes 2 things. So actually only one. We're just gonna pass the user to it like this. Okay, so let's pass only the user to it, and let's actually create this component. Okay, so for this component, the user info is just gonna be simply this one's gonna be only for the dashboard. So we're gonna go to the dashboard right here, and inside of this dashboard, or let me actually create it inside the sidebar directly. I'm just gonna create a new component that is called user info.tsx like this, and then we're gonna go right here, and this one is going to take an interface, but we can do things another way if you want to. I'm just showing you like different ways to do it. So this one is going to be called user info like this, and it can take the props, which is going to be the user right here. The user is going to be the property of the user. We have to specify right here what type is the user, is the actual user right here. So which one? And this is the thing that you have to understand. This one is from clerk because we are passing the one from clerk right here. So we need to pass it like that. And let me import these components right here. And now we don't have an issue with the user, or actually do we? Yeah, because it could be null. So simply it could be the user, and if we don't have the user, it's just simply going to be null like this, and that's going to remove the error. Simply just hover and it's going to tell you like the exact type or what the problem you have. So when we do that, now we can actually start working. So for the div right here, I'm just going to go inside of here and have another div, and inside of this div I'm just gonna have a button. So I'm just gonna have a button that we can import from the UI components, and this button right here, let's add the class name to it. So for the class name, it's gonna have width 4, and then also it's gonna have margin top 5, and also it's gonna have margin bottom is gonna be 4, and then we're gonna have flex, and then item center, and then also gonna have justify between, and we're gonna have padding white 10, and also the variant that we have to choose for it. So the variant of this component is going to be ghost. And then also inside of this button right here, we're going to have another div which is going to have flex. You can copy the size if it's boring for you, and this is going to be item center, and then also going to have text left, and then also gonna have a gap 2 between them. So for this one right here, we're gonna have an avatar, which is simply gonna be the image of the user, and if it doesn't exist, we're just gonna have the name of the user. Okay, so we're just gonna have an avatar component, which is gonna be from the UI, okay, like this, and inside this avatar I'm just gonna add a class name to it to just simply change the width and the height, which is gonna be 16, and the height also is gonna be 16. And inside of here, we're just gonna have the avatar image. We also need to get it from the not this one, sorry, not the, we're gonna need this but later. So we're gonna also get the avatar image right here, and this one is just like a normal image, but it's for the avatar. So the source right here is gonna be what is gonna be the user if it does exist, and then dot the image URL. So this is the image URL, the property that you get from the user from clerk. And then also there is the alternative right here. So the alternative, we can just go with the user and then dot first name, for example, like this. So but it could be, we need to provide that it's actually gonna be there like this. So that's it. Or you can actually do something very more inclusive to have the whole property. So just gonna have the first name, and also we can have the user dot last name like this. So what is it? Do we have the property last name? Yeah, we do have it. It's here, and then we have to specify that it's gonna exist. Okay, because we're gonna make sure that's right here, this user info, we don't show it unless we have a user like this. And I think now we just simply remove this, is gonna work. Yeah, if you remove this, now we're gonna work because we provide that only when the user is there. So but if you don't add this, you have to do it. So maybe it's a good idea to leave it like this. Okay, and this is for the avatar image, and then after that we're just gonna have the avatar fallback. So let's go right here. So this is when the image doesn't exist. So avatar fallback, so the image doesn't load, we can use this avatar right here, which is simply gonna have the user dot first name. So let me just go user dot first name, and also space between them, and we can have now the user dot last name. So user dot last name like this. Okay, and for the avatar we can also add some silence. So we're just gonna go bg primary right here, and then also we're gonna have text white. And this way we added the avatar. Now after the avatar, we need to add another div, which is gonna be flex call, and then also it's gonna have a gap y1. And then simply inside of here, so the first thing is I'm gonna also have the name right here. So I'm just gonna go with the user dot first name, and then also space between them, and then user dot last name like this. So last name, I can't even see, I'm legally blind. So under that, we're just gonna have another span, which is gonna have let's add this first, and let's go with the class name, and text is gonna be muted, and then foreground. Okay, so just make sure you go to the properties or actually the colors in that we have by default from CN, and you look them up so you can understand what colors they are, and you can actually change them if you want to something more customizable. So right here we're just gonna have the email. So we're gonna go user and then email addresses, because it's an array right here, and we're gonna pick the first one, and then we're gonna access the email address like that. So now we have the email address right there. So under this span also, I'm just gonna go and have another span. So this one is gonna have like, is gonna say either admin dashboard or seller dashboard. So I can have it right here. For the class name, we're just gonna have with fit right here, and then inside of here we're just gonna have a badge, which is also another component from CN UI. So a badge from components, make sure always like this, And then for the variant, also takes a variant, and I'm gonna take the secondary one, and then also I'm gonna add the class name, and I'm gonna add capitalized to make sure the first letter is gonna be uppercase. And then inside of here, we're just gonna take the role. So the role is gonna be the user. So this is the problem. So we're just gonna go user and then the private metadata, and then dot role like this. And we have to specify it like this. And actually, if it does exist, we can actually show it. So user dot private metadata, and then dot role like this. And we have to also do the optional chain in here like this. And let's see if it does exist, we're gonna have it. If not, we're just gonna have nothing there to show for. But it says right here, type is not assignable to type React node. It's declared to specify badge because it could be undefined the private metadata. So we have to do it this way. And also, let me just remove this right here. And then actually I can copy this one. So we're gonna do, just bear with me, it's gonna make sense. So we're gonna take this and also copy it, and we're gonna say if the private metadata are there, and then also we can check the user.row, and then we can add that one as well. It doesn't work. Let me just make sure again. The expected come from property children, which is declared. You know, the best way to actually do this, I know what's the best way. We can do it in a far more easy way. So just remove this from here. I know what we do. Just gonna go right here, extract it. So we're gonna go const and then role. And this role property right here is gonna be the user.private metadata, and then also dot role. And I know because the problem right here, it doesn't, it's not like a string. Okay, that's why it says this is a type of children. So I feel like we have to just simply use the toString function. Okay, so let me just actually first, if it does exist, then we're going to use the .toString function. This should work, yeah, because the error that we had before, it just says like it acts like a children objects, but we can do that. We just simply have to make it a string, and that would work, I hope. So I'm just gonna go right here and use that. Let's hope it works. So I'm just gonna go and add that here, and to string. And also I'm not only gonna do that, because it's admin that we the role that we have added were all uppercase. So admin, if you had admin, it's gonna be written like this, and if it's it's gonna be like this. We don't want that, so I'm just gonna make everything to lowercase. And also when we use the capitalize, it's just simply gonna capitalize the first letter. Okay, and the first letter will always be uppercase. And then we can add the dashboard text like this here. And we have done that, and we are done actually with the user info. So now if I go back to my actual components right here, you can see we have this beautiful patch right here. It has the image, and then also the name, the email, and also this beautiful admin dashboard right here like this. Okay, and this is how it looks in light mode, and this is also how it looks, and then also this is in dark mode. And let me zoom out a bit. So now the next video, we're gonna actually work on this side right here, which can have the menu, and we're gonna work on routing and etc. for this part right here. We took too long for this one, I'm sorry, because I'm too sleepy. This video is just a bit off, I know, but thank you for watching, and let's keep going, guys. We will finish this very fast, don't worry.